Nigel Farage has been speaking recently about the efforts, if he were to become Prime Minister, he would be pushing forward with efforts to cut wasteful spending in the British government and so on. He's basically echoing everything that Elon Musk has been saying for the last few months. How's that going, Patrick?
Yeah, that would be great. Let's do what Elon Musk did with the Trump administration. Not going so well, actually. Let's take a look at this report here. This is an article. This is a devastating article, by the way, written by somebody on the right, just so people know. But Musk is fleeing the Trump administration after DOGE failure, white genocide hoax, and X meltdown. X melted down as a platform the last 2 weeks, totally dysfunctional. People were just losing their DMs and timelines. But the big thing here is DOGE. Now, let's take a look at this. So that was remember, that was the battle cry, right? We're cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, said Elon Musk. And he made some big claims and big promises and pledges at the beginning of this. So let's take a look at where things actually ended up. Musk is out of government, and this is the receipts here. Back in March, just remember, Musk made the wild claim that DOGE was on track to save the U.S. federal government a whopping $1 trillion by the month of May without providing any actual evidence to back up the big headline-grabbing soundbite. Well, May, Mike, has come and gone, and so has Elon Musk, unfortunately, and we'll go on here. Now, take a look. In April, Musk was then forced to admit DOGE may only cut $150 billion in spending, 15% of his original pledge of $1 trillion. So already not doing too well there. I'm afraid to say it actually gets worse, believe it or not. And by the end, we'll see how much DOGE actually saved here. In February, DOGE claimed it had achieved $55 billion in annual spending reductions. However, its wall of receipts detailed only $16.5 billion in this total. Half of that figure came from a typo, claiming that $8 billion in savings was terminating an $8 million contract. So they rounded up $8 million to $8 billion. That helped to inflate the total. There's so many examples of this, which are all cataloged in this article, which is a brilliant takedown of DOGE. And the New York Times reported here about other such accounting errors, including claims of canceled contracts that had already been canceled during the previous administration and so forth. He claimed that they were saving $4 billion a day. So that would have been $260 billion by now. And there's nothing near that. So verified budget savings, et cetera, not much to report there. So a total collapse in that one. And the mass firing, now he cut a lot of staff, right? That was in the news. Now the rehiring of those public sector workers could cost up to $135 billion during the end of this, or before the end of this fiscal year in 2025. Also, the IRS, he's done massive cuts there. This is ultimately going to result in less revenue collected by the Internal Revenue Service. Now, a lot of people are probably happy about that, certain people. But in terms of getting the government its bottom line, it's a disaster. So the whole thing with DOGE, it's going to end up costing and increasing the federal budget. And here we're looking at the actual results. By the way, DOGE is subject to 30 lawsuits out of the 200 related to the Trump administration's sort of agenda, if you will, for cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, and so forth. So that's all going to get tied up into the courts afterwards. So here's is mea culpa from Elon Musk. Watch this in this interview just yesterday.
So, I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, everything he's done on DOGE gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
So he doesn't seem to be in any way embarrassed or ashamed by the
No.
fact that it's been a massive failure.
It's a giant. This DOGE was a giant psyop. As I said from the beginning, I predicted that the budget for this year, the first year of the Trump administration, will exceed Biden's last year, and they're on track to do that and really surpass it by leaps and bounds with the new inflatable defense budget over $1 trillion. So that's the main thing that we need to pay attention to. So go to all the details are here. Up at this article at 21stcenturywire.com, and the receipts are there, all the links. So it's a well-researched piece, and it's really incredible. Absolutely no benefit from DOGE at all. In fact, it's costing the government massive amounts of money.
Mark, did you have some thoughts about this?
Not much. I thought I read, and this may not be a very pivotal thing, but I thought I read where the DOGE mission was given a timeline, and that he reached the time limit at any rate, to say nothing of the spending matters. I don't have time to get into that. Is that true? There was sort of a deadline beyond which DOGE wouldn't exist?
Yeah, 2 years, I think. It's a non-governmental commission. Effectively, it's not a government department, and its remit is, I think, 2 years, so 24 months.
I thought it was less than that. But at any rate, maybe we'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, 2 years, and they have to issue a report at the end of that 2 years as well, much like the Grace Commission did during the Reagan administration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, look,
J. Peter
Mark,
Grace, right?
Yeah, Mark, let's